Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Arning, Director of Communication for Stewart-Haas Racing, and on behalf of everyone in Aspen Dental and Stewart-Haas Racing, I want to certainly thank you for your time this morning. Want to introduce the people we have on stage. On the far left, Bob Fontana, President and CEO, Aspen Dental Management, Inc. In the middle, Danica Patrick, driver of the number 10 Chevrolet for Stewart-Haas Racing. And far right, Mike Petrosillo, Director of Sports and Partner Marketing, Aspen Dental Management. I want to go ahead and say that we have a pretty significant announcement to make today, but this will also serve as Danica Patrick's media availability. So once questions regarding today's sponsorship are asked, feel free to talk to Danica about racing here at Talladega this weekend. This will also take the standard protocols of a driver media availability, so when we do open it up for a Q&A, please state your name and affiliation. This is being streamed live on NASCAR.com as well as Sirius XM Channel 90. We'll go ahead and reintroduce Bob Fontana. Bob, the dentists and teams at Aspen Dental are focused on breaking down barriers and helping patients get the care they need. And in order to reach more people, we're here today to announce an extension of Aspen Dental's partnership with Stewart-Haas Racing, but with a new spokesperson. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we're absolutely excited. You know, as part of our mission, we're trying to help bring America a healthy mouth. And we're absolutely dedicated to bringing the importance of oral health care and the awareness across the United States. So we're really proud to be a part of the Stewart-Haas family, and we're particularly proud to have Danica by our side here as a new member of our team. So we're thrilled to be doing this. Danica had a pleasure meeting her about 3 weeks ago, and she's absolutely dedicated and passionate about this sport, and we're thrilled to have her help us bring this conversation across the United States.
And Mike Petrosillo. Mike, talk to us about why NASCAR works for Aspen Dental and how impactful Danica Patrick will be as a spokesman for Aspen Dental.
Well, 2014 will mark our 5th year in racing, and it's been a super fit for us. And for the last 2 years with Stewart-Haas Racing, we have really focused on celebrating the smiles of our patients. And going forward, as Bob mentioned, we want to raise more awareness about this important forgotten topic, and there's absolutely no better way to do that than with Danica Patrick. So we're absolutely thrilled to be a part of this.
And Danica, you visited the Aspen Dental team and their headquarters up in Syracuse, New York about a month ago. What did you see there that made Aspen Dental such a good fit with your own brand?
It was a great trip up to Syracuse. Getting to meet everyone, get to know them a little bit, but more importantly, seeing their facility and seeing just where everything is made and seeing how much goes into it, and also how much all of the employees care and how nice they were and how excited they were that day. So I really felt like I was already in with you within those just short couple of hours that I was there. So thank you for making me feel comfortable, and I'm very excited to partner with you and to find a really great partner that fits. And I love being with companies that care about people and that have a big picture in mind. And it's not just a business, it's more than that. And that's what creates longevity, and that's what makes a great business. So you really care about your people, and you really care about oral health, and we're going to get the word out.
And Danica, you now have two very powerful brands behind you in Aspen Dental and GoDaddy as you enter your second full season in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Talk about that and the fact that Aspen Dental will be on your race car at Las Vegas and Atlanta next year.
I think it's, I always enjoy different paintouts, and having Aspen Dental be on all year as a partner, but then have 2 full paintouts for Vegas and for Atlanta will be special races. GoDaddy is a great partner as well, and it's great that this partnership happened, and they both are excited about it. And so you'll see me not in the green, just as I am this weekend, not in the typical green, as it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'll be pink and green. For those couple of races, I'll be blue.
All right.
Not blue in the head, just blue color.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up to our media for questions. We do have staff here at Talladega Superspeedway with microphones, so if you do have a question, please raise your hand, and we'll make sure you get squared away. We'll start in the back with Ed.
This is regular questions.
Absolutely, go ahead.
Okay. Ed Hinton, ESPN.com. Danica, 3 plate races under your belt. Do you feel better prepared maybe than ever to deal with these things, and do you feel like there's a good chance to surprise some people with another Daytona 500-like finish? Or have you just learned that these things basically are just the same old crapshoot for everybody in the field?
There's a certain level of it that, of course, is a little bit of a crapshoot, but there are, there are patterns, and I would say that one of my patterns is that they tend to be better races for me, and that find a way to the front for a majority of the race. So hopefully this will be another one of those. And I know that Stewart Haas builds great speedway cars. I know I feel very comfortable and confident on these tracks. And what I'd like is for having good races to not be a surprise, and especially on these speedways to really not be, as they've been something that I've been comfortable and had good results at. Obviously from the beginning, but from Daytona especially.
Alan Cavana, NASCAR.com. Danica, these restrictor plate races will give you a chance to race toward the front with a lot of the chase drivers. As someone who's not in the chase, and do you think about that, given that now we are, in this playoff?
I feel it's an element of thought at times, but you just have to get on with the racing. And I feel that just like with teammates, when you start to tiptoe around someone too much, you're not doing what's normal, or in some ways not what's expected as a driver. So you really have to get on with the job at hand and understand that these races will just play out how they'll play out, and there will be accidents. And you hope that you aren't the culprit, but if you are, that on some level they're inevitable in this kind of racing, and that nobody wants to crash, but it's just the nature of everybody going over 200 miles an hour a couple of inches from each other.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. This is for Mike. When we were given your title, sports came into it. I was just wondering, what other sports is Aspen involved in outside of NASCAR?
That's a good question. For the last, I'd say 5 years, we've been involved with lots of sports, particularly at a high level with NCAA basketball. We've been partnered with the Big East Conference and a number of teams around the countries and markets that are important to us. We've been with a number of NHL teams, and we spent a year with Major League Baseball as well. So we're kind of feeling our way through this, but NASCAR has been the perfect fit for us, and we look forward to a long future in this sport.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. Danica, I wanted to ask you, what do you think it is that has helped you have the success on the restrictor plates? Because there's a whole lot of veteran drivers that haven't had success, don't like coming. Does it fit your style of driving? Do you think it's the positive attitude that you come in actually liking these things? What has been the key?
I'm sure that you're right about some of those things, Holly, for sure. Having a good attitude always helps. But I, as I've said before, IndyCar racing on mile and a halfs was much like this kind of racing, flat out, close quarters, and just trying to do whatever it took to keep the momentum up. So I feel like visually it's very familiar racing to me. Aerodynamics work different, but as far as the visual of how it goes and needing to keep the momentum up is very similar. And then it's being with good teams that have good speedway cars. It's important. I think that that's been seen in qualifying, and obviously with Daytona qualifying on the pole for that race, you need to have a really fast car to do that.
Claire?
Claire relaying Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. How many friends do you feel you have made on the track, being as people know you're confident here at this type of racing? And then talk a bit about whether you think that this race will be any different this time around being in the chase.
Well, I think as far as it being different, these are the races that when I've been a spectator at home, they're the ones that you see drivers that are in the chase hanging back and waiting until the last 10 or 20 laps before they really make their move and try and get to the front without putting themselves at risk the whole time. So that's something that you might see that might be a little bit different, although that happens every now and again otherwise. As far as friends go, I think that happens when you do well. Everybody wants to be your friend when you're fast, so the best thing I can do is go be fast.
Okay, Ron?
Ron Felix, Insider Racing News. Danica, can you compare racing here with Daytona, and do you have to prepare any different here than you would at Daytona?
No, sir.
Can you compare the races?
The races are really similar, other than the fact that Talladega is a little wider. They're very, very similar races.
Yeah, we got one in the back.
Roger Holtzclaw with Speedway Media. Danica, given you're 3/4 of the way through the season now, how do you personally judge your progress? Do you feel like you're, on track with where you wanted to be for this season? A little behind, a little ahead?
I'm right where I need to be. I'm right where I was going to be. All I know is that I've done everything I can to prepare for the year, to learn throughout the year, and that's what's going to lead into next year and trying to really put it all together to get great results for GoDaddy and for Aspen Dental next year. So I don't think that you can ever plan how it's going to go or give yourself a grade, because everybody learns at a different rate, and there are times that I probably was unexpectedly better than they thought and worse than they thought. So it's just my own personal progression, and everyone's is different.
All right, any other questions for our speakers? Yeah, Lee.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Hey there. The Gen 6 car, we thought it might be advantageous to you because everybody's kind of starting on the same level playing field since nobody else had driven the car either. What are your impressions of that car? I mean, you have nothing really to compare about it, but what would your first year grade be to it? And did you pay attention to Monday's test and possible changes they might make, and how that would help with the drivability?
I think it's been a successful year for the car. I feel like there's been very little issues. It's just a different balance of a car. And so I think it's suited some driving styles better than others probably. But I think that it really comes down to, as we feel and saw as a team to start the year off, that you've got to bring the best cars possible. And I feel like we started a little bit behind, but have rapidly throughout the year been learning and understanding the car better and better. And what's hard is everyone else does that too, to some degree. But I think that it's going to give us a lot of knowledge going into the off season for what we need to work on to arrive with better cars next year. And speaking more in specific, with excluding the speedways, they're a special, unique character of their own, but the rest of them. So I think it's been fine. I think that there's no issues, and I'm also definitely not smart enough to know what they need to do to fix it. I don't have the experience with these cars yet to really know, but I will be for sure asking how the test went on Monday, and I know that there were team members there to watch and to see what was going to go on and what's maybe happening for next year.
Bob Pockris, Sporting News. Martinsville next week, you had probably your best non-plate run there. I mean, do you feel comfortable there at all, or do you feel like you'll be...
two extremes there, the speedway and then the extra short track. So I think that what that shows is what's possible when you have a good car to work with. And I feel like I definitely had that at Martinsville. So the challenge for me this time around will be to not downshift from fourth to third when I come out of the pits and over-rev the engine and have to start from the back, and in general just have a better qualifying run so that I can start further up and work from there. It's a short track, and those leaders are on you very, very quickly if you don't have a good qualifying run. So qualify better and let it play out from there.
Any other questions for our speakers here today? All right, we do encourage you to come outside, just right out here by the front stretch. We do have the car unveiling. Again, it's the number 10 Aspen Dental Chevrolet SS that Danica will drive next year at both Las Vegas Motor Speedway and Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thank you very much for your time. Certainly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Nah, you can. Everything you got set up.